And we're back here once again with another episode of the MSK show. And this is going to be episode 206. So I hope you guys had a great day. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week that is ahead of you. And in this episode of the MSK show, I am going to be having a conversation with 32 Flavors of Nickweiser. Once again, this is going to be his second appearance on the show. Last time I talked to him, basically he went out to the ghetto. He decided to become black, and then he was like, you know what? They let me say the you-know-what word, and they respected me for it, like that episode of Family Guy. Then he came back, and now he's back again.
Yeah, I came back. I got an N-word pass. It was really, it was like, wow, this is like one of those treasures that Indiana Jones finds in one of his movies. I'm like, so that's what I thought it was a myth, but it turns out once I got to the deep hood of Chirac, one of the, the top G homies was like, Nickweiser, Nick of the Wisers. Here it is. Oh. And it said, and it looked like it was like a currency bill. And it said N-word pass. I was like, whoa, can I trade this in for a pizza?
Good Lord.
Yes, you may. So I traded it in for a pizza.
That's good, because speaking of pizza, as you guys know, that's what I've said on Twitter, hot pizza out of the oven is better than sex. There you go. I said it. Hot take, because
literally hot.
I'm just saying, you literally can't go wrong with pizza out of the oven when you just straight up eat it. Or right when you get pizza in that big giant plate just right in front of you, you're just like, wow, nothing else is on your mind. Do you guys know that they did a study in college where they put 20 guys in a room alone, no cell phones, no nothing, same with women, and the only thing that men thought about was who they were going to bang and something about like the economy. Women, I forgot what women thought, because I don't give a fuck what women think, because as people have proven with women, like the last 10 years at this point, women don't know what the hell guys want. Like every day they're asking, like, is this what men want? And it's like, men would literally tell a woman, I want this. And girls would be like, but you do you really want what is going on in life anymore? Golly, man. But how you been doing, dude? How's the YouTube channel and everything else you've been doing?
I've been doing pretty good, man. My personal life has been really sorted. It's been wild. It's been wild west, if anything, but I've been making it work. And, I'm going to a big convention with my children tomorrow. I took them to SmackDown last week. And, of course, I got Vegas coming up. Yeah, so I've been busy doing the dad life. And, of course, YouTube channel. Streams have been going good. Videos been up and down. Super chats and memberships have been good. The sub is weird, but that's because YouTube changed it. But overall, I'm still having fun with my channel. That's the big thing for me, is I'm having a lot of fun with my channel. I did a video that I was really proud of, the top 5 Daredevil comics to read before after watching Born Again, the show, which is great because it's a very normie-friendly video. So if you plan on watching the show, or if you even don't plan on it, if you watched it and you like it, or hell, if you even hated it, everyone wins from that type of video, because it shows them, hey, this is some shit that you should read. So, and that was a 16-minute video. I went full YouTuber for that video. I had a lot of fun with that one, and I'm hoping I could get to another point where I can scratch another itch. I'm doing videos like that, because those are some of the funnest videos to do. Is top 5 type of videos, recommending shit. There's definitely something wonderful to being able to show people, hey, this is what's out there, because the world has kind of been consuming what's put in front of them, for better and in other cases most definitely worse. And I feel like there's a lot of things out there that people don't know about. So I'm like, why don't I use my little magic and try to say, you know what? Hey, I'm going to be the guy that puts fun stuff for you. I'm the one who's taking over the kitchen. I'm making dinner. You've already had your meatloaf 800,000 times. Here's something a little different. And so I'm doing that. And it's really great. It's gifting.
So for me, when it comes to like comic books, because I want to start doing that kind of content on my comic book channel too. Like when I read and like more books than I've read at this point, because man, I've read so many floppies this year. I've read so many trade paperbacks and collected editions. Like the last thing that I just read was Absolute Superman #1. We did a review of it on this show. I'll drop it on my comic book channel at some point. My God, was that just like not good. Like Absolute Batman and Absolute Wonder Woman issue #1s so far when I've been reading those series, solid, okay, nothing too crazy. I think Batman's the stronger of the three, which is crazy at this point now because that's to be expected. Absolute Superman #1 was not good. Holy mother of God! I hope it gets better. Like that's what happens when my brain tells me I need to go and read some of these floppies. That's why I kind of like reading collected editions more sometimes, because I feel like it kind of gives you that better experience. Oh, like experiencing maybe that first arc of a book, because some of these titles coming out, as you probably realize, these things are just not worth investing into, right? Like, it's like when it comes to TV, is this like must-see TV I have to consume right now, like Game of Thrones or Walking Dead when they were like the biggest shows dropping? It's like, not really. You could literally just wait for the trade and got the same level of value for what you could have just invested into later on anyway. Like Daredevil, I know they've been giving him. He's gotten so much stuff recently. They've been dropping a whole lot of his omnibuses have been coming out. I know they just gave him the Career collection. Yeah, like so. Actually, since you read Daredevil stuff, do you like the Mark Waid Daredevil run? Actually,
no, I don't. I really revile that run, which is crazy because I mostly like a lot of stuff Mark Waid has done. I do. Like I know he's crazy. I don't read Mark Waid anymore. Like he's out. He's absolutely on my no list. I think he kind of was one of those guys who decided to work overtime to really not separate art from artists, and the message was heard. It was loud and clear. And I thought, okay, Mark, it's clear you don't want me as a customer, and that's fine. I'm glad you made that clear. So I don't buy any of his shit going forward. Now, obviously, he's a really prolific writer who's done a ton of stuff that I love. I'm not going to pretend like I never liked it just because I'm now against the guy. Like, I'm not going to play revisionist history. But as far as Daredevil goes, that to me was like his original sin. I don't get how a guy like that wrote that type of run. It didn't make any sense to me because as crazy as he is, always was, and always will be, he's always been good at separating his mental erratic behavior from what he does in his comic work. Now, his work is in Daredevil is probably the closest it's gone to being, let's just say, modern propaganda. Usually he's good at separating that stuff from it. I know I respect the RCA on his run, Chris Samney. I like that guy, but I like him with other books. So it's an idea in theory I should have liked. And I wasn't even against the idea of having a lighter touch on Daredevil, because a lot of people still tend to forget that the very first 50, 75 issues were a bit lighter in tone, had Daredevil in the yellow suit. You could pull that off, but I feel like this was trying to make Batman 66 look dark. And I did not like that touch for Matt Murdock. You can work some humor into Daredevil, but I feel like that run took it way too far. And I have nothing but regret for sticking around as long as I did on that run.
What do you think about Brian Michael Bendis's run? Because he had that run where it was called The Man Without Fear, right?
Oh, yeah. A lot of them did. Because that was part of the title for a long time. Oh, I love it. I mean, that was my first comic that became a pull list comic. That was my very first one because Daredevil number 41. I remember that issue. That was, I think it was either early 2003 or early 2004. I bought it because it was a quarter. A quarter. I'm like, oh, that's a hell of an incentive to want to get into comics. A quarter? Like, hell yeah, man. So I bought it, and that was when Bendis was writing it, and Daredevil was like, that was my first monthly comic pull comic ever. I was buying that monthly, and I love it. And I remember at the time thinking, wow, this Bendis guy is awesome. He's going to become something great someday. I mean, I was wrong about that. I mean, God, Bendis really fucked a lot of shit up in the 2010s. But at that time, man, he was hot between that Daredevil comic run and his Alias book on Jessica Jones. Those two books were really stellar. And the writer he was during those two books, I don't recognize that writer after that because those were such strong runs. I thought that guy was going to be the It Man. And he did become the It Man for a lot of people. But a lot of people started noticing when he started making every story a Joss Whedon script story and every character started talking the same way. And of course, the damage he did to Superman at DC. So what Bendis has done since then is really horrific. But hey, at least he got my boy Matt right.
So, what about Chip Zdarsky's run? Did you ever end up reading that? Because I
I
know they gave him
love the
omnibuses
first
recently.
25 issues.
Everyone says that. Everyone says the first 2 arcs, 3 arcs maybe are like the best. Then they say it falls off, which kind of sucks that something can start so good and then completely fall off. Huh, sounds like my marriage to my wife.
Miss Sparkles asked a question really quickly. I'm going to ask. I saw his bed you were
They're fine.
sitting on when you were on our stream. Is this your bed? Yes, this is. There, your answer.
So where's my
Anyway.
wife? Did she leave
Nope.
me?
Yeah, I'm ordering a new chair, so that's why I'm using the bed because it's cushy. Now Chip Zdarsky, I loved it, and I mean loved it. Like it had potential to be an all-timer. It was like screaming like grand slam after grand slam. And then the second half of the run happened. And I tried sticking out a bit, thinking hopefully this would turn around. And it was like Chip became a different writer as well. It's really odd. He became a different writer and not a good one. And that was unfortunate because of how strong that run was the very first half of it. The first 25 versus second 25 is a wholly different world. And I think I stuck it out until the end of his run, and I read the first 2 issues of the current run from Saladin Ahmad, and I was like, "Fuck this." So, yeah,
God.
even though the Zdarsky was disappointing me the second half, so much goodwill was built from the first half that I stuck it out, and it didn't stick the landing at the end. But I thought, okay, let's see how this new guy is. And that first 2 issues, I'm like, "Fuck, no." I'm not doing this.
So there's something that we were talking about earlier when it comes to like YouTube. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people have seen it recently. Is like it's not just like if one YouTuber was saying it, then you'd be like, oh, okay, it's just this one guy. Maybe your content's not as good as it used to be. But recently, as people know, YouTube has been, I don't know, not alerting people that videos have been coming out, or maybe people just really aren't interested. I really don't know what's been going on with YouTube system recently because like channels that would usually get like a certain amount of views at like the bare minimum aren't even hitting those anymore. Or, I guess it's really just one of those things now with their new algorithm where it just ebbs and flows. It's just you get all the highs and then the lows are just so much more consistent now. You remember the older YouTube system? The views were just there. People just decided what they wanted to watch, and that was it at random. But ever since the good old PewDiePie incident, well, now we just all have to suffer, Even places like Rumble, you can't really go there and build an audience because there's an audience there, unless you just want to go on Twitch and be a half-naked whore and do like tub streams, Nick, you could eventually do that, man. You could go on OnlyFans, start making content there, man.
No, for me, noticing what's going on YouTube is really interesting because I'm noticing channels and I'm like, so is there a less interest in this particular corner? But then you also hear the old saying of I don't get notifications for your videos, and that and I hear that one all the time. And then you gotta think, oh, is it a quality issue? Are people interested? They're just getting a lack of quality. And I'm actually pretty good about staying on top of a lot of the channels that I watch. And I don't personally see any quality issues. And it's clear YouTube changes shit. I fucking hate it when they do this. To me, it's the most pointless thing. To me, there should not be a mathematic-based system where it shows based on what you watch. I don't like that. I get why people like that. I know this is going to be a very unpopular take. I don't like that. To me, what should show up on your feed is what you're subscribed to in the order of when people put shit out. It's really simple. It's basic 1 + 1, 2 + 2 style math. What should show up on your feed is what you're sub to. It's one thing if you're recommended, but the feed bullshit with like For You and then where, oh, well, you haven't watched the last 4 videos from so-and-so because you haven't watched the last four videos. We're not going to show it.
Yeah.
Just because I don't watch the last 4 videos doesn't mean I don't care about their shame, or it doesn't mean it take away from the feed. I hate it when they do that. To me, that's just dumb because some people, maybe they have a specific thing that they watch out of that channel and they wait until they talk about that specific thing. or maybe they just have a life and they just can't absorb all
Yeah,
that material right away. Maybe they're
YouTube
saving
literally
on the
wants you
watch
to be
later.
that. YouTube literally wants you to be that fucking dude that's chronically online on the internet every single day. It's like, just because I maybe miss a few videos from someone's channel, well, maybe I like binging that guy's videos because they don't come out as often. So I like to savor the experience of watching them all at once. Like I do that for FNT episodes. Sometimes I just kind of watch them when they kind of build up over time because they, I don't have time to watch them on Friday because I'm very busy Friday, So like, and I told like Twitch is no better either. Twitch has almost actually zero algorithm. You will never get recommended in Twitch. And in Twitch, you essentially just have to hope you hit it big doing the most random, weirdest shit possible. And they have a worse ban system than YouTube. People are saying YouTube at least gives you 3 strikes, 4 if you count the warning. Twitch is just, you're gone. That's how it could work sometimes. They didn't even give you warnings sometimes, No. Rumble's not really been the alternative to this as everyone thought it might have been, because they keep kind of like, shooting themselves in the foot constantly with dumb ideas. They got to a point where now they're just circulating Tim Pool and Steven Crowder and Quartering and all these other guys for like standard broadcast TV, like that used to be back in the day. So if you're not those big guys that they chose, then you're essentially just kind of like shit out of luck. It's like, we're screwed
in the water. Yeah. So, and I haven't gone all in on Rumble. I just do streaming exclusively there because I have a lot of people who they don't want to give YouTube super chats. But if they're willing to give money to Rumble to do Rumble rants, and they're willing to pay me there, I'll open that up so they can do that. Because once again, I'm gonna listen to what my base says. So I have her on my channel. I have my my memberships. It kind of bounces around between 40 to 50 a month on average. Some months it'll be a little higher. Some it'll kind of dip 30, 35. But on average for the last year and a half, it's been between 40 and 50 consistently, which is that's a really proud number to have. And I asked these guys, since you're my paid members, what are you looking for from me that I could do to say, hey, because you asked how you could support the channel. And when I hear things like that, it's like, okay, this is what they're saying. Get a Rumble account going. I don't need to make it my bread and butter, but at least have it there. So if they really want to, give money while I'm on stream, it's there. My last Toxic Tuesday show I did a poll. What do you guys want? This one or this one? So I do try to keep my audience as a very major priority. I still do monthly member streams. A lot of people kind of promote the monthly member stream, and a lot of them kind of forget about it, which is understandable. Life happens, especially if you're on YouTube. It's easy to get busy with shit and kind of forget about it. But I take a lot of pride in being consistent, especially for the last 6 months on my member streams. I kind of fell off that wagon too, but I got right back on it, and I've been 6 months strong with that. So I'm having a lot of fun with that. And I see Miss Sparkles is asking a question. I'm going to answer for her.
Yeah.
So what's your content, Nick? My content, I'm a very cultural man per se. I like to talk about 80s action movies. I like to talk about comics. I like to talk about heavy music. So I like circling between those things. Basically, typical guy stuff. Those are things that I'm into, and because I'm into it, I want to talk about it. And so I do. Like last few weeks on my Toxic Tuesday stream, which is on Tuesday nights, we've been doing some Jet Li movies, and up to including this week. And Friday nights, I do a comic show called Clobby's Comic Shop, and it's basically where we talk comics over drinks. I had this man on as a guest about half a year ago. And of course, I try to put out 1 or 2 videos a month, and I rolled it. It's freaking fun. I have a lot of fun with it. My Daredevil review is good. My Working Man review did pretty good as well. So I'm happy that those things are people, once again, they're things that people want to see from me. They think, okay, we know this guy knows 80s action movies. We know this guy knows comics. We know he knows his metal. We like when you do these things, Nick. Really lean in on those. And I'm listening to my market. It's a micro market, but it's a micro market that's paying attention. And that's what's important.
So the other thing I wanted to ask you was that, have we ever talked about video games ever between the last conversation and this one? I don't think we've ever talked about video games ever.
We have not. My children are gamers. They are. I don't play it as much as I would like to. I was a big one during N64, PS2, and I was into PS3 when it came out. It wasn't anything against PS3. I kind of just teed it off because I graduated high school and I was 21 before I was 21, if you know what I mean. So I was by winning like Charlie Sheen. I like seriously like the amount of booze I was consuming as an 18-year-old was more than what most human bodies could survive.
You saying you were Charlie Harper?
Charlie Sheen. Charlie Sheen. I was by winning. So I fell off that path. And I tried getting back into it. And when I tried getting back in it, I liked what I was playing. But the problem is, in 6 months, I had picked up my console a handful of times for like an hour and a half segments at best. So no, I'm gonna like get the Switch 2 when it comes out for my children because I know they'll get used of it and they want to play a Mario Kart games. My youngest, she's a big fan of Kirby. Like that's Kirby's her character. She is she loves Kirby.
So she liked the Kirby game that came out on the Switch some years ago.
Yeah. Oh yeah. She's obsessed. My younger brother, her uncle, he had the game and she was like, Uncle, can I play this game? And she's good at it too, so it's great.
Gosh. So you've been essentially like not in any of the video game console war discussions at all. You're pretty much, I just only buy the game console for my kids. That's pretty much it. Good Lord. That's good sometimes.
I'm aware of the console war, and that's fine. I get it. I don't blame fans for why they have those arguments. It's fun arguments. Kind of like the same, like, who wins the fight, Hulk versus Thor? I get it. And I know I was a little bit that way when I was during my PS2 days, but I just sadly do not have the time. And if I make time for it, well, then I have to cancel time out from something else. And
no, true. Yeah.
I can't cancel that time out from something else. So I just, pick and choose my battles. But I am hoping when Switch 2 comes out, I'm really, really hoping somewhere in there I can find some time to play the new Mario Kart or the new Donkey Kong. Because I did see the previews for those, and those did pique my interest. And I would like to at least have some time to play a game, really.
Like the other thing that people have been talking about in this whole discussion with the Switch 2 was the price of the console. Like this is something that I understand you have like problems with the way that games might be priced, specs, how many gigs, all that stuff. That stuff should be of talking points because those are things that would make you have a decision on if you want to pick up a console. But the fact that people are bitching and moaning about a $450 machine when it's like, guys, we've known this thing was probably going to come out many years in advance. We always know there's going to be sequel consoles. That's always going to be a thing. I would say they should stop doing it and just make the ones they have better, but that's a discussion for another day. People know that this has been coming out for many, many, many years. You could have just been saving money. $10 here, $10 here, $20 here, $30 there, So that way when something does come out that's big, you have the money to afford it. Or simply, I said on Twitter to stop being broke, and people got a little mad at that. What I meant is that, like, if you have a life where new things come out and you don't have the means of buying them, well, that's a you problem. That has nothing to do with the company. That's a you problem because keep in mind, this happens in life with everything. There's new cars, there's food that constantly comes out, there's bills, there's day-to-day expenses. If you don't have the means of supporting yourself, that's a you issue because these things aren't changing anytime soon. New game consoles came out when we were younger, and what happened when we were poor? We just kind of waited to get them when they were cheaper toward the end of its life cycle. Yeah, that's kind of how things work when you're lower on the totem pole and you have less money. I don't get why people think that's offensive. That's happened in life throughout God knows how long, forever, when this kind of thing, when these kinds of big things became a thing. Do you guys think people go to car dealerships and pay them $20K for a new car? No, you're paying the car off, all with insurance, and maybe if you have a loan or whatever, you pay it off. There's like all these PayPal Pay in 4 options now. Like there's Klarma, there's PayPal Pay in 4 has its own thing. There's Shop that has 4 payments. You can literally pay it off if you don't have the money up front. You can look like, I don't know why people think that $450 is a lot of money. That's nothing in the grand scheme of things, Now, I would say the system fails on a few things as far as like things that, Nintendo should have made better, but $450, if people think it's a lot of money, come on, like, what are we doing here? Like, come on, just say you don't like what Nintendo's doing instead of being like, oh, it's just this console's too expensive. The reason why I know it's not too expensive, everyone rushed to buy a PS5. That thing costs like $500 plus tax. That had nothing to do with the price. Nothing to do with the price. And keep in mind, Nintendo hasn't been the company that has been making like absurdly shitty games for people, from what I know. For now, a lot of people like their games. So it's not like they're making constantly shitty games. It's just, maybe some of the practices from the company haven't been good. That's just, I couldn't get down with that kind of argument. It's like, just stop being broke or manage your finances better. Like, it's literally all it is. And someone said, what if I have medical expenses? You know what happens? You don't get it then. You don't get it up front. You get it later then. Yeah, you take care of your life stuff first before you get a game console. Thought that was pretty much self-explanatory. Man, average people are stupid, dude. They just overreact to anything. It's like, this has been a thing in life forever. Okay, guys, when you go to a store, maybe if you're poor, you got to put some food items back. It's just what it is. That's just the life you have. You don't argue about it. You just do it. And this, come on, you don't need a game console, guys. It's not food. You're not eating your Switch games. Maybe if you're really, really on crack, you might start eating a Switch game. But good Lord, man. Have you seen so many people, dude? They're retarded. People are
I know. Trust me. Snow is white, water's wet. Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Many people can be retarded. It's not lost on me. It's not lost on me that happens. And yeah, I'm with you there. Like, I knew the price was going to be higher. And it's like, yes, okay, Nintendo, this is their highest pricing for a Nintendo, ... But however, if you look at the history with the customers of Nintendo versus Sony or Microsoft, it seems the Nintendo customers have the least amount to complain of as far as the gaming consoles go. So it seems like they're most likely the most better off. So assuming that that's true, judging by what I see from the outside, this shouldn't be as bad because, one, you're getting quality. Two, it's still cheaper than when, what was it? PS4 was like $600 when it came out.
That was a PS3, yeah.
Was a PS3? Okay, PS3 is $600. PS5 is $500. So Switch is still a better price than those. And those are 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago. So we're getting technically a better deal than they were 20 years ago. And that's in a day and age of, all the price expense, which, we'll cross that bridge. We'll keep it to video games. But to me, it sounds like it's fine. And then when you look at the previews of what we're getting, the Donkey Kong game, the Mario Kart game, the Kirby game, there was a lot of really great looking trailers. So I was like, okay, cool. They have a hook to the games. They also have a deal where if you buy it, hey, look, this game that was $80, $90, well, guess what? If you buy it with the Switch, it's only $50. And a lot of people also forget that when Super NES came out in the late 90s, a lot of those games were 60, 70, 80, $90 as well. They were. We had it cheaper for a while. Well, games were like $50, PS2, Xbox 360. So I am aware of some of the prices on that stuff. And so we're kind of going back to that market. I just hope with the game prices being up, I hope that's a sign that they are of lasting quality and they're not I beat it the day I bought it. I hope that there's long-lasting, endless gameplay, because even if I don't get back into the gameplay myself, as long as my children get their fix out of it, then that's just a big old bonus. So I personally don't have any issues with Nintendo Switch 2 and the price difference. If you're like $1,000, I would definitely have a complaint there. To me, I'd question the hell out of that. And would some of the arguments still apply about you apply the same mentality of how to prioritize? Sure, but also $1,000 or something like that, I'd say to me that's just not worth changing my life for. But I feel like $450 is a solid ask in my opinion. I can absolutely roll with $450. I feel like that is a very fair price. I feel like maybe at the most, maybe $550 is I'd switch.
Oh, the other thing that I wanted to bring up with a lot of people, because they said back in the day certain games and certain consoles were cheaper. Keep in mind, most people that were like poor and didn't have enough money, most of the parents literally just bought them when they were on sale, or they just bought them on like Craigslist or stuff like that. Like a lot of people, guys, they sometimes go on marketplaces, like on eBay or on there's Facebook Marketplace, where you just buy stuff there. Like not everyone buys stuff initially when it drops. I don't know. I feel like on Twitter, people just don't even possibly think about any nuance at all. It's just either it's black or white. That's it. And I feel like that is so stupid to a conversation that we, for some reason, have to forsake everything that we went through in life for just to kind of push this one narrative. And it's like, we never got game consoles on release. We always just kind of bought them later, or we just bought them from someone. That's what you can still do. Yeah, those options are still there. And keep in mind, the Switch 2 is backwards compatible. So if people said, but I like playing my Switch games, it's like, yeah, you can still play them on your Switch 2. It's backwards compatible. Are you like retarded? Can you not read? Like, and keep in mind, if the Switch 2 never releases any good games, well, yeah, that's great. Guys, you still have your back catalog. It doesn't go away because it's backwards compatible. It's like people are just so doom and gloom up front. It's like, just calm down. Try to think about things. It's okay. Think things through. It's not the end of the world, or if consoles have been so bad for you, you always get a Steam Deck. If Steam Decks are available, get a PC. I always say PC Master Race is better. I have a new PC. I hope to install it very, very soon. But golly, man, just I don't know if you feel the same way when it comes to conversations like that on Twitter. If it feels like that way for like Rippaverse sometimes, where like people are like, I'm pretty sure you saw recently with that whole like lawsuit that was never a lawsuit, where the person was alleging
lawsuit ever.
Yeah,
fakest lawsuit ever. Fake outrage.
There was never a lawsuit to begin with. People know what a lawsuit is. A lawsuit has you like literally in court going back and forth with a plaintiff and a defendant and the countersuee and the suer. This never was a lawsuit because it never actually went to a court. They did like, people. So people were alleging. So there was one person who was consistently just a fucking moron, was alleging that Eric July couldn't use the title ISOM for his signature series from Rippaverse Comics. And then it came out that the Good Shepherd Ministry said, no, they're fine. They can do whatever they want. We cannot restrict them in any way. And guys, I'm just paraphrasing that too, but that's what they said. We cannot restrict them in any way. And then detractors of Eric July still try to spin it as like, no, okay, we got him. It's like, no, you got nothing. ISOM remains the same. He could straight up call it ISOM 4 and they can do nothing about it. That's it.
Yeah, it's clear that they are just looking as anything Eric does, no matter what, we have to put a bad spin on it. It doesn't mean everything needs to be touted as a masterpiece either, but it's clear people like that, they need it to be bad because they're way too invested. It's just kind of like a lot of people who had TDS. And guys like that, they could cure cancer they won't be happy that so-and-so cured cancer. They're going to be mad that so-and-so is the one who made the action happen. They don't care about the action. They care about who did it. And because they care more about who did it, they're going to see as it's bad because he cured cancer. He ain't allowed to cure cancer because he cured cancer. That's why I'm mad. So, yeah, Dex Herrera, all those guys, they're fucking stupid. They're worthless. And, the flames will eventually come down upon them one day. And I won't feel any sympathy, and that takes a lot for me not feel sympathy for anyone up to that high of an extent. But guys like that are straight up reaping what they sow. I don't care about guys like that. To me, you gotta let them sound off because no matter what they say, no matter what, there's no reason in trying to argue with a lot of them because they're just way too attached to their opinion, much like the far left by emotion. They're way too attached to it, and it doesn't matter what happens. As for some of them, it's become a grift. If they start, let's just put. It's almost in a weird way. It's almost kind of good that Ripa does this stuff because if he stopped tomorrow, if he just say, you know what, I had fun doing the Rippaverse, but I'm going to focus on YouTube full time now. They would not have anything there. Like, if anything, they should be thanking him. Without him, they're nothing. Without him, they are absolutely nothing. They can't move on from it. Like, that's why for me, like covering shows, I guess to say in a negative light, I don't cover every single one just so I can be a part of the conversation. I cover the ones that I have an investment in. That way I think I can actually add something of substance to the conversation, like Daredevil Born Again. So, and now that's something I covered. I'm not going to like trash. I just said trash. I need to have a really thought out take on how I feel about the show for positive and for negative. So I don't need to be a part of every conversation, but at least I know when I'm trashing on something, it does come from a place of trying to understand why this happened or how this happened. So you're mentioning nuance. Yeah, it's clear that nuance has absolutely been lost in conversation on Twix, on YouTube, and all fandoms for better and worse. You're seeing extremes on both sides. yeah, everything is either a masterpiece or everything is the worst thing ever. And that's
That's why I
neither
said it's
true
wrong
for
too.
neither thing. Some things can
Yeah,
just be okay, or some things can
something could just
be
be good
decent. Some
or
things could just
decent.
be good. We forgot
Yeah,
we're in an age where we aren't listening to what someone says to understand it. We're listening to simply reply. We don't want the facts. We want confirmation of how we feel. And if we have more confirmation, we're happy with the confirmation because all we want is the reassurance and not the facts. And because people have how they feel attached stronger to them with Eric July's ISOM thing, they're never going to come around to it. And if they ever do, they're not going to go out there and admit it. If they come out there and admit that, hey man, I overreacted about this like crazy, the first people are going to come for them are the ones that they align themselves with. That's going to be the very first one. They will eat their own like that, and they have before. I mean, that side they have their decent people, but a lot of them are sharks. And once they see one that tries to break away from the pack with a differing take, well, that's where they will eat you. They will treat you like Jaws, and well, have fun. Have
yeah.
fun. That corner doesn't matter to me. I don't pay attention to that corner. I don't make videos on that corner. And that's not a knock on those who
Mhm.
do. You want to have your fun with your YouTube channel. Your YouTube channel is what you make of it. But for me, people know how I feel on those types of things. I'm not going to just make money on something people already know how I feel. I love, and I'm a capitalist. I'm not gonna say how dare people make that money, but I want my takes to be fresh, clear, and not beaten down the path of obvious is obvious.
Yeah, because I feel like that's a problem too when it comes to most conversations, when it comes to like just movies in general. Either something is a masterpiece or it's just a steaming pile of shit. And it's like, well, if people understand how adjectives work, movies can either be, I don't know, good, okay, decent, meh, just anything. It's not just a black and white sort of conversation when it comes to movies, because I feel like that just blurs it all into just two different camps. And most of the time, you go to a movie theater to watch anything random. If you just kind of want to go to a movie and see something, you're going to get something that's probably just okay. And that's fine, because that's how most movies are probably going to be for the average person. They're just going to be either okay or decent. But I wouldn't say a movie's just complete trash when it's done really nothing offensive, but just be kind of boring. Some movies are just kind of boring, and that doesn't make them bad. They're just boring. But I feel like people do that on YouTube a lot, where they'll watch like reviewers, and then instead of kind of like understanding that this is just the way this person feels, they want that person to just kind of validate how they feel. And it's like, well, then that means you're not even getting a genuine person at that point. You just want some sort of confirmation bias person for yourself. And it's like, that's what people want. It's like, that kind of just sucks. I've seen it so many times. Like you have this with got Jeremy Johns and Chris Stuckman and all those guys, where, I'm glad at this point Jeremy Johns just, says how he feels. And if you agree, it's not, because people for a long time just wanted him to just
Toe the
say what
line.
they thought. Yeah.
Toe
Like,
the
no, you
line. He's
can't
toe
do
the
that. Like,
line.
and then people are going to get mad at you if you ever say, yeah, I'm sorry, I kind of lied to you guys about this. I didn't like this movie. And it's like, you're going to be mad at that person if they admit they lied to you. It's like, people should just be able to be honest, and then you can kind of take it or leave it. Man, it's
Look at how many people shifted their opinions on ISOM based on if they liked or didn't like Eric July.
yeah,
How
it's true.
many? And then
Yeah.
the screenshots are all out there. A lot of people aren't sure capture those screenshots of how many people changed their opinion
Mhm.
based on
One
if they
person
liked them,
saying it was
they didn't
bad.
like it, and it wasn't just one. It was several who did it. And
Mhm.
for me, I have a consistent take. I thought I Saw One was okay. I thought it was
Yeah, it's
decent.
just okay. Yeah.
And my opinion stayed the same. No, I Saw Two. I really enjoyed. I also really enjoyed the salvage that he did for Ripazine #1. I thought that was awesome. So it's like, okay, I really enjoyed 2 out of 3. And I didn't say any the 2 out of 3 that I really enjoyed were masterpieces. They were just really fun, entertaining stories that I got, that I was like, I came back to them for rereads and I felt good and I felt like I was entertained, and it left me wanting more. So I was really satisfied with that. But no, for the one that I was like, is okay. I feel like having that as an actual authentic opinion versus someone who, man, I really love this. And as soon as they have a hate boner, This is awful. This is the worst. Dude, who do I want? I always said thinking to myself, who do I want to listen to? The guy who goes depending on where the weather is blowing, or do I want to listen to the guy who has a consistent take? So I had to remind myself of that a lot when I'm recording reviews and I put my take on this stuff. Like I don't give everything a 10 or a 10 or a 9 out of 10. It's very rare that I even do. There's I think one or two comics last year I gave a 9 to, one or two. One of them was Dean Cain All-American Lawman, which if you haven't, you should really read
go
it.
read it. It's very good.
Fucking amazing. That's a 9 out of 10. That's
I
a
met
9
Gabe
out of 10.
El-Taib in real life. I met him at the F&T meetup last year, and I met him when we went out to his birthday celebration at this bar in San Diego. And I always tell people this, just because I may have met you or like you, it doesn't mean I'm going to like your work. And it was very good. It was very good. I to be fair, I initially thought it was going to be good from the interiors that I saw. And I was like, okay, this was kind of fun. He described it as some sort of like 80s, like 90s James Bond action movie. And I was like, oh, okay. But then, it's based on like Dean Cain, who was Superman for a lot of people. And it's like, I don't know, a book based around this celebrity, ex-celebrity as he calls himself now for Dean. I don't know how he's going to pull it off, but they pulled it off very well. If you guys want to go check it out on my Compa channel, we did review it with Professor Savage Dad. It's there. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's definitely one of the best indie comic books I've read.
Oh, by far and large. He hit a home run with that comic. I was so happy with Dean Cain All-American Lawman. You get it's a hefty read too. It's an hour. It's like an hour to read it.
Yeah.
But is it worth it? Oh, hell yeah, it's worth it. So I loved it. I can't wait for volume 2 to come out. And my favorite Rip of Verse book was Yaira 1 and 2. That's my favorite one overall. I really enjoyed that. Mm-hmm. So and I think I gave those like an 8.5, which once again, I feel like those are really very fair scores. I know that they're very fair scores. I highlight what I love about things I feel like could have been done better. And then I was just like, okay, if I'm giving this a negative or a mixed thought, why do I feel that way? And is that enough to weigh down a score? And sometimes, depending on that all varies. Does your level of enjoyment get suspended from your disbelief too far? Does it not? And my stuff with my nitpicks with Yaira were just that, nitpicks. They weren't things that took away from the quality of the book. So to me, it deserved its really well-earned 8.5 score. And it seems like there are people who genuinely feel it's higher, and that's great. But all I'm trying to get at with that, with the scores, is that authenticity to me is the greatest form of currency. You'll probably get less people come to your channel for it, but you'll get a more consistent, more dedicated audience. You also get a smarter audience out of it. Like yesterday, me and my buddy Mark DUC were talking the 8th episode of Daredevil Born Again. We had people in our chat, and we had around like 15 people, and we had opinions in that chat that were, I must say, loved the episode. Some who thought it was pretty good. Some thought it was okay. Some who didn't outright like it. And it was a really engaging chat with all these various opinions. And me and Mark as far as the episode, me and Mark thought it was pretty good. We didn't love it, but we thought it was pretty good. It was like a 7 out of 10. But it was nice to have that type of engagement in our chat. It was nice to really have that. And I would love to see us culturally shift towards having a genuine dialogue like that. I would love to see the various opinions and not people just be there for the outrage. It's clear that, and I think a lot of people lean on the outrage. One, some are good at it, and I'm not going to deny one of their tone. When you're good at it, fuck it, go for it. But there are some people where chat-wise, that's all they want to consume, video-wise. And that's unfortunate because I want shit to turn around. And to me, if I'm only absorbing stuff that comes from the outrage side, I have to then question myself, do I really want this to turn around, or do I just want to talk about wanting to turn around? And that's why for me, covering stuff like Yaira, covering Dean Cain All-American Lawman, and other stuff in our corner, that's very important to me because I do want this to turn around. And it starts at a few people who want to take that brave leap. And that's the path of the greatest resistance, is those few people who want to break away and go for the different take. Those are the bravest ones because they're the ones who are doing it first. that's unforeseen territory. And those are the type of people I would look up to. And since there's not enough of that out there, it's like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm going to take that leap. If a lot of them aren't, then I'll do it. All right. If you won't, I will, because I want us to get to a place where we're having conversations on shit to enjoy again.
Yeah. Because I think people have to understand that's what's called skin in the game. Because a lot of people don't even have skin in the game for most of the stuff. They're just kind of like viewers, which is fine. But I think the average person thinks that this is just easy. And when they realize it's not, that's when you get like people that start channels that kind of just stop doing them because they realize this is not as easy as like bigger content creators made it out to be. But keep in mind, bigger content creators never made it out to be easy. You thought it was easy from like seeing a subscription number and how their videos come out. But you guys have to understand there's so much that goes into the those big channels you watch have editors. So they're not sitting down and editing their own videos. They're just doing the recording most of it. Some of them have separate people just to do thumbnails, But if you're a guy like, let's say me and you, Woods, we're just doing it all by ourselves, editing, recording, uploading it to YouTube, putting it out, just so much stuff, collaborating. And people do like collaborations, honestly. That's why I've seen more people do streams now, because it's just way easier technically to just do a stream where you just fire up and just talk to someone rather than just sitting alone, talking to your camera like a madman and then just going off and then recording it, throwing it into like the abyss, So I understand why people do, live streams more. I do them probably more than regular videos now because it's just a little bit more easier and you could just clip out the moments that are the juiciest parts. But we don't understand when it comes to live streams, YouTube is a video platform, so your highest viewed stream will be never as highest viewed as your highest viewed video. But then again, I would say this, to be a lot better at YouTube, we were talking about YouTube earlier as well, you need to develop a personality as far as like how to speak. I think that's the biggest problem that people always fail to understand. Some of how you present your video, something that you need to figure out how to speak properly, like having a conversation with a person, bouncing ideas, going off what they're saying, tying it to what you're saying, all that stuff. You need to be like energetic. You need to be kind of entertaining. This is because people who are just kind of boring, even they've mastered how to be entertaining. There's boring personalities, but they've mastered, okay, I'm boring, so let me try to do it this way. Some people, the reason why they don't really function properly in discussions is because they've never actually thought about their actual thinking. What I've did to get better at this is you need to think about why you think the way you do. I think it's a very good thing for you to do that, because if you don't know why you think the way you think, then you're just going to be a very thoughtless person. That would make you literally just an NPC. Some people don't even know why they like their favorite movie, and they can't even explain to you scenes that make it their favorite movie. It's like you've never thought about these things past like a surface level, in-depth way. It's like, that's crazy to me that people don't think like this way. Oh, great. What's up, man? How are you doing? Gross. You mean what? I had sex with my wife last night. What are you talking about? Everything's going good. Yeah. Or also, I tell people this. As for YouTube, funny. Microphones too. You don't even need a webcam. Essentially, just get a decent microphone so your audio is not crap. That's another good thing too. But just kind of figure out the way you talk to your friends in real life. Try to translate that onto like a screen. Just being a thought-provoking, talkative person. Because there was one-on-ones I had on here where I ended them when the person was giving me one-word answers. I'm not gonna sit there and waste my time with that. Why? You don't even care to be here. Why am I gonna be caring to talk to you? It's like, fuck that. I'm gonna make up some story saying my internet's out.
My time is valuable, and I want to make good use of my time, and I want it to be productive. I'm not here for a one-sided conversation. If you're not in it, then I don't want to be in it with you as well. So I'll move on to the next person.
Sounds like a marriage.
Yeah, right. And you can apply it to just genuine daily conversation. You can apply it to who you work with. You got to make sure you have people you can work with, people you can communicate with. I mean, communication is key for everything in every facet of life, whether it's employment, whether it's being a parent, whether it's being a worker. It doesn't matter what it is. You got to have communication down, especially if you want to run YouTube. You gotta really know how to communicate. But some people, they know how to play weird ways of working around it. And sometimes, you do get some people where they play the lotto and they win. So, I don't get that, but hats off for their success. But for me, I'm here for engagement, but my engagement is not of the farming engagement. My engagement is for it to get conversation out of this, maybe learn something along the way, and also to really show people what other great shit is out there. And yeah, if I'm on a panel where there is something bad being talked about and I feel that it's bad, well then, yeah, I'm going to say that it's bad.
Oh, so I know we've never spoken about this because you said you're a dad. We talked about like your origin story in the last episode.
Yeah.
So you have a girl and a boy, or two girls?
Two girls.
So you have two girls, so you're a girl dad. Okay, so how long have you been married for?
Okay, I've not answered this question. I'm not married. I haven't been married ever. I was
Oh,
with a
okay.
lady, and unfortunately, things didn't work out. And I'm not saying this as a way to advocate for divorce because divorce is not ideal, but only under extreme situations. I had to emphasize the word extreme
Mhm.
situations. Do you leave someone who is the mother of your children? And I don't like getting into, let's just say, details of my personal life, but when things
Fine.
get to a very physical nature, you have to make really tough choices. So I've been a dad who's operated mostly alone, mostly alone. So
Okay.
I do enjoy it though. I feel like the girls, they have a dad who, well, they get to see what it's like being a guy living in the world, and I get to see them being little girls growing up in the
Yeah.
world, and so we do get a little bit of the two, worlds colliding, and we make good on it, and they're both really girly girls, but they also like some stuff. Like my oldest, she's a little bit of a tomboy, but she also loves her stuffed animals. She loves having a bed full with blankets, and as she says, I need my bed to be made of butter. But she also likes some, and she loves reading. She likes Harry Potter, a lot of stuff they know a lot of girls like. But she also likes some of the stuff that I like. She's a big WWE fan. She has her favorite superstars. So there's that blend there. And my youngest, she's into stuff like the movie Wicked. They're both in the Dog Man. So they have their things that they're into. Some are like they share in common. Some that's their thing kept to themselves. And luckily they share some of the same loves that their dad has. So I enjoyed it. It's a wonderful ride. Obviously, it has its tough days, but that's going to be with everything. But the great days heavily, heavily outweigh the tough days. And like last week, I took my kids to SmackDown in Chicago. We had a great time. We had a blast, and they were so into it, which was awesome to see how they were into it. Because if you had told me going to 2025 that would become their newest thing that they'd be into, I would have never believed it. But here we are. It's April, and they are both
So
all
why
in.
is your favorite wrestler The Rock then at this point?
For me, my favorite, I'd say The Rock is definitely one of them. I don't know if I have the favorite, but The Rock was definitely one of my favorites, especially during the Attitude Era. I loved him. He was huge. I mean, he was great. Obviously, Steve Austin is great. The Undertaker is great. And I liked a lot of the other like smaller guys, Rob Van Dam, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle. There's a lot of guys that I really liked from the Attitude Era. I thought the era at Booker T was excellent. Oh man, love Booker T.
Have you been with wrestling throughout your whole life, or you took breaks like some people did?
I originally left because I hated back in the end of the Attitude Era, they did this thing called the draft where they were splitting the superstars into their exclusive shows on Monday and Thursday, because that's when SmackDown used to be Thursdays. And that drove me crazy
Mhm.
as a kid. I hated that. I was a teenager. And I'm thinking, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you putting these guys on their own shows individually? To me, that was the stupidest shit ever, especially since I was in a position where I can only catch one of the shows a week. So now I was like, I'm going to ask, where's so and so? Where's so
Mhm.
and so? And I couldn't just catch both shows all the time. And that drove me nuts. So it kind of originally pushed me away. And as a teenager, I hated it. And then I saw a documentary on Peacock. They actually address this.
Mhm.
And from a business perspective, they address it. And I could see why they did it looking back in retrospect 20 years later. I get it. They explain why they entertain from a business angle. And they talked to a lot of superstars who are more current. And a lot of them said, yeah, I was not happy about it as a kid as well, or as a teenager. So it's clear those who are in the business shared some of my sentiments. And that's great that shows you, hey, yeah, a lot of them, they related to my opinions too. I came back to it on accident. I came back to it because earlier this year, early February, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna watch the Royal Rumble. I haven't watched that in live in 20 years, maybe more. But I think it was last 20 years ago. Last one, maybe 21 or 22. But we'll say for conversation's sake, 20. Easy number to go off of. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this, just have fun for a night, try to relive some old time's sake. And I watched it. I was actually, enjoying it. And then my youngest, she came into the room, and I'm like, "Oh, you don't want to watch this? Is some weird, smelly old dad stuff." And that's pretty much what I said. And it was actually what I said. It really was. That's not like paraphrasing. That's not figurative. That's literally what I said. And then she ended up sticking around, watching it more, starting to ask questions. I'm like, "Oh, that's interesting." She's really getting interested in this. And then my oldest showed up. And before you know it, they were in the room with me watching it for the rest of the event. And they both asked me, "Is there more of this?" I'm like, "Yeah, there's tons of this. There's actually a show that happens every Monday night. It's called Raw. It's on Netflix." And then, "Can we watch it? Can we watch it?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." And before you knew it, every Monday night now is about Raw.
That's insane. Holy shit. So and keep in mind when you're saying this, like your little girls being into like wrestling, if this is nowadays, people that are retarded like Democrats would think they're guys. Like that must make them boys. They like wrestling. It's like, no. Do people know that literally boys could have played with Barbies? It doesn't make them girls. Okay. I don't know where these comparisons come from. That's like, what's the thing people used to say back in the day? Reaching. That's reaching. That's actually straight up reaching in the most crazy areas. Like if your girls went to like a school in California and say, my dad showed me wrestling and I loved it. Like, you must be a boy. You must change your gender. It's like, the fuck do you get that from? What if I just like wrestling? Oh my God, man. What do you think about all that shit that happens now where like all these public schools are just straight up trash?
It seems the more city linked they are, the more they teach that shit. And it seems that it really emphasizes in the universities. As far as I know, it doesn't happen as much in like the suburbs of a lot of states, even the bluer states. Now, obviously, you're gonna have some outliers, but for the ones that do it, obviously, all I can say is, parents, if you're in schools that are teaching that, you need to get them out. Straight up get them out. If you're in a school where it's not like that, pay attention anyways. Just be vigilant and hope that your school doesn't fall into that trap, because if they do, you got to have a backup plan to get them out. You got to have a backup plan to get them out just in case stuff like that unfolds, because it could always, you can always wake up one day and then that shit's starting to linger in your school district. But it's clear that the areas that are really the most infested by this are college universities and schools in the city.
Oh, because this is the thing he never answered. What are the other 32 flavors? Because if you're a flavor yourself, then what are the other 31 flavors?
I have a buddy of mine named Toxic Man Flu. He comes up with all my flavors. He's the decider on that. He's actually named them. If you follow me on Twix, he's written a list. I'm sure if I ask him hey, could you send me the chart of all the flavors, he's got them all written down. The name came up because I passed by a sign that said 31 flavors for Baskin Robbins. I thought, why not go the extra mile, add another flavor on top? So if anything, I was a cherry on top of Baskin Robbins. So that's why
I thought the name Nickweiser was a play on Budweiser. Actually,
no, Nickweiser is a play on Budweiser.
I figured, yeah.
I back when I was 15, a high school classmate gave me that nickname Nickweiser because I was a 15-year-old who was sneaking in beers, drinking them, and I was then dubbed the name Nickweiser because I was the beeraholic at 15.
So, last few things we're going to talk about for the show. The first thing is you're going to be out there next week for the Geeks and Gamers F&T Vegas meetup for 2025. So will I. I've gone to 3 meetups back to back. I got a 3-peat going. We'll finally meet each other, and you have to basically confirm for people that I'm definitely a white man. Once you see the white man, that's me. You're going to be like, wow, that's really a top G. So, well, what are your expectations for going out to the meetup? Because you've been to some before. I think you have.
I have.
Right?
I've been to
Yeah.
several actually. I went to Vegas in 2021. I went to Orlando in 2022. I went
Mhm.
to Dallas in 2023 and 24. Went to
Mhm.
Milwaukee as well because that's right up my neighborhood. Basically, I'm an hour and a half away from Milwaukee. So I've been quite a few of them. Mostly 1 year, with the exception of 1 year I did two. I love them. They're a fun time. They never get
Yeah.
old going to. I will, as long as the time and money allows, I'll keep going to them. This one I'm only going to, not because I didn't want to. I'm only going to because once again I have a really dedicated channel. The chat funded my visit, and
Mhm.
that's the honest truth. If it wasn't for my chat, I would have not gone. I even said, guys, I have to hit a certain number in order for me to go. If
Mhm.
I don't hit this number, I'm not going to go. And that means if there's money that's hanging over, you decide what I do with it. Do you want me to refund it to you? Do you want me to give it to someone or something? Should I buy some stupid? Once again, I let my chat be the mark and decide where that money goes in case I don't meet the goal. Because that was as genuine, like, hey, if I'm going to do this, I'm only doing it because you guys are demanding it. And
Mhm.
lucky, once again, and I have some good buds who are going, like, you're fucking
Mhm.
going, Nick. No, you can't just knock. I've been to Vegas in 4 years, so I'm really looking forward to I'm looking forward
Yeah.
to seeing the usuals, Gary Neurotic, X-Ray Girl
Yeah.
and Tugs. I'm looking forward to
I
hang
think
out with
Jen
my
and
buds.
Sylvie are going to be there, right? I think they
I
said they're going to
don't
be there.
know. If they are, to me, I don't know why they would be there because WrestleMania is in Vegas, and
Yeah.
that's the same
They
weekend
said
as
the reason
Vegas.
why
And
they
I
didn't go
know they're
last
big
year was because they
fans.
had the movie last year that they were doing for Tubi or whatever. So that festival movie they did. Because I remember I super chatted Eric and I asked, are they going to go? And she was like, they should be there. So if they're there, the Sausage Sisters, me meeting the top G would be amazing. Obviously,
It would
most
be
girls are
amazing.
happy to see me. Obviously,
Yeah.
it's just what it is.
Yeah, how could they not be happy? I'm looking forward to meeting you, man. I'm looking forward to meeting a lot of the other
Yeah.
guys in our sphere who have smaller channels. I want to hang out as many of them as possible. Whether it's the ones who I've hung out before, just get to hang out with again, and there's gonna be the
Mhm.
ones who I've not, man. I look forward to meeting them for the first time. I already got a few things I'm doing, like I'm getting a pizza meeting set up. I'm
Yeah.
going with another buddy who listens to my channel, who's just a viewer. He just listens to my channel. Him and I are going to a metal museum in Vegas. We're going to a metal museum in Vegas. Yeah,
Ooh.
yeah.
Okay.
Him and I are already booked for that.
I'm
Me,
going
him,
to
and
a
his
strip club
lady.
because that's what you
So
got to do in Vegas to go to strip clubs.
you take care of the strip clubs. I'll take care of the metal museum and get my In-N-Out burger. So that's what I'm going to be doing. But yeah, we'll meet as well along the way. It's going to be great, man. I can't wait to meet you. We'll definitely hang out. We'll chat. It'll be good. And for those in our chat, yeah, I know Emily knows who I am. For the rest of you guys, yeah, please check me out. I'm Nickweiser at 32 Flavors of Nickweiser. I know it's a long title. I I talk cultural things from a manly man perspective. It's fun, no soy involved. There's no oat milk bullshit. Like, this channel is a gluten-filled, sodium-filled, caffeine-filled channel that pedals to the metal. We love talking comics. We love talking 80s action movies. I love talking the metal as well. So please come check me out. I do streams Tuesday and Friday night. I'll probably even do a stream from Vegas. So come check me out. And dude, Mr. Master Swag King,
Ugh.
thanks for having me, dude. It was a pleasure to hang out with you
Yeah.
again. Thank you. And
Last,
thanks for
yeah.
accommodating my schedule. My life has been so crazy. So I
Oh, that's fine.
appreciate you negotiating, according to that. You don't have to do that, but you did it anyway. So I feel very privileged. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. Anything for a fellow white man. I always do anything the white people want. So the last few things I asked you, which is the first one, really fast, which is, do you have anything planned coming up that you want to let the audience know about?
Yes. Friday night, Klobby's Comic Shop, 8:30 Central. We talk comics over drinks. And sometimes, yes, I do get pretty drunk. Sometimes. That will be our Friday. That's our Friday night show. I'm working on a video. I should have it out by the end of the week. And we'll be talking the finale of Daredevil Born Again Tuesday night as well. So I hope that show sticks a landing, because I'm gonna hate having to talk about this show in case the ending sucks. But if it
Mhm.
sucks, I'm gonna be honest. So yeah, that's my channel. Come check it out. I saw Miss Sparkle said she just subbed. Thank you. Appreciate that shit.
Oh, it's
Thanks for
okay.
having me,
How you doing,
man.
buddy? Yeah, the last thing I'll ask you, which is, do you have any shout outs you want to give to anyone in particular, and anything else you want to say before we head out?
Oh man, who do I want to shout out? Shit, I have sadly not caught up on a lot of new channels lately, and that sucks. Fuck. Shout out to my buddy Brahma Bull. I know it's easy because conflict of
Oh, I met Brahma
interest,
Bull. I like
but
him.
Brahma Bull
Yeah.
is a great guy. He's got a great channel. He really knows his politics. He does a Sunday stream, and he is killing it. And he's only got like 600 subs, and he is killing it in his live streams. He's putting up numbers that people in the 1K, 2K, 5K, they wish they had for the live streams. Brahma is a man who is killing it. Please go subscribe to Brahma Bull. His channel is great. He's very politically savvy. He's definitely on the very right side of the spectrum, but man, he is so good at what he does. And he's also very classy while he does it as well. So shout out to my buddy Brahma Bull. Great guy. I know him in person. I know his real name. We've talked. He's helped me out with he's helped me out with real life bullshit as well. So I'm gonna give it to my boy Brahma Bull.
Hell yeah. So it was great talking to Nick once again. We'll definitely see you next week when we're in Vegas. So thank you guys for checking out this episode